Hey guys, thank you for joining us once again. It's good to have you here. This is your channel, Yellow World, and once again I'll be your host today. And my name, as you all know, is Bosman. If you are watching us for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also hit the notification button so that you can always get notification when we post a new video. I'm glad to be here today, and I have another special guest, but as we always do, I want to turn to her to introduce herself. Welcome here today. We want you to introduce yourself to our viewers.
Thank you, Bossman. My name is Olukemi Charles. So when you're asking me to introduce myself, I'm feeling that, should I start talking about myself?
Yes, please do. Don't talk about me.
Okay, my name is Olukemi Charles. I'm a business process specialist with a manufacturing company here in Canada. I've been here for about 2.5 years now.
Okay, I know that's a short description, but we'll get to know her the more as we go in the program. My next question to you will be, I know obviously you were not born in Canada, you moved here at a point like you also said. So what will you say was your motivation, or why did you decide to, apply to, immigrate to Canada?
So obviously I wasn't born here in Canada. I never imagined I was going to leave Nigeria. I was born in Nigeria, Port Harcourt, and I've spent the most part of my years in Nigeria, right? I never thought I was going to leave Nigeria because, I believe so much in the country, and I finished school, started working, things were looking good, but I had something happened, right? And that was why I made the decision to leave. Even though quite a number of my friends had been moving right from when 20 years ago, they're always moving abroad, but it was not I didn't consider it, right? So what happened? There are two major things that led me to decide to move. One of it was that, because I'm passionate about knowledge, and over the years I've continued to build my capacity. So I was getting to a point where I felt I needed a broader, I think I needed more international opportunities in order to showcase my skills. So I was getting to a point where I had a lot of knowledge, but I didn't think I was utilizing everything maximally, and that was constraining for me. Then on one of those days I was on my way home from work. I had a late night meeting and I was attacked by robbers. And that was an experience for me. I was on one of the roads. There was this hold up traffic, and they just came, broke the mirrors left, right, center. It was a very horrifying experience. I could have been killed, right? And I thank God that I wasn't killed on that day. And when that happened, I just thought to myself, I said, okay, I'm here, we're hustling, we want our dreams to come true. But it will get to a point that even if I get to live on Banana Island, I will still, drive the roads, so majorly because of security, I just made up my mind that night that I was going to move, and I started the process. And something happened that night. Anytime I talk about this, I want to tell people, I said, one of those robbers gave me a dirty slap. I've been hearing that when you get slapped, you see stars. I tell you, it is real. I saw stars. But when I look back, I say I'm thankful for that slap, because that slap helped to reset my brain. Put my brain in the right thinking path, and I did something about about my situation. So
Wow, that's interesting. And I know a lot of us have stories. Like I said, I've told my stories a lot of time. One of them is how robbers attacked me when I was working at the branch of a bank, and it was an experience I will never forget. And at that point I knew that maybe I wanted to leave. Now my next question is on how you prepare yourself to get ready for Canada. I know we've discussed a lot about it, and I mean, you were one of few people that when you landed, I would say you were. I mean, the first time I met you, I heard about you, I know that you were prepared for this place. You know, I wish I knew some of or did some of the things you did before you come. So, how did you prepare yourself for Canada? You know, what are things you did to make yourself ready for this environment?
Yeah, I think that starts from the fact that I've always been a planner. So, you know, over the years, I've cultivated the habit of planning. So, like right now, I have like my 3, 4, 5 year plan.
Wow.
You know, so I only not think about it. Usually, I have it on paper and I monitor it. You know, so when I made a decision to come to Canada, I tell you, it was a project. You know, and I wasn't fortunate to have somebody to hold my hand, so I had to self-teach myself, you know, many of the things, the requirements, what needed to get done, you know, in order to, you know, to come in here, you know, and in positioning myself, you know, for my career, right? Over time, I've always known what I wanted to do. I know what fulfills my passion. I know what excites me, you know, and that was why, you know, when I started talking initially, I said, I was feeling that I had a lot of capacity, but I wasn't able to showcase my skills. So one of the things that I did, you know, was to research the, you know, the province I was coming to, you know, and Canada as a whole, you know, to research, okay, because, you know, we are different countries, different nationalities, different cultures, you know, so the expectations will be different. And for you to succeed on a venture, you need to understand, you know, where am I going, what happens there, you know. So one of the things that I did was to research the employment industry, you know, to understand, okay, what is the employment rate of unemployment, right? What are the opportunities that are within the industry? And looking at the various opportunities, you know, I was able to decide that, you know what, I'm going to focus my strengths on this particular aspect, which is business analysis, you know, which is what I'm doing now, because I got my PMP in 2011, you know, very long ago. I also have my CBAP, you know, and I also have this, you know, very good knowledge in strategy. So I had a lot of opportunities. And you know, in Nigeria, we're specialists. So even though you have a role, you're wearing multiple caps, you know, and having worked for a lot of years, I actually had, you know, all these various opportunities that I could position myself for, you know. So when I decided that, you know, what I wanted to do, right in Nigeria, I did subscribe to job adverts. Yes. So from Nigeria, I knew the types of job opportunities that were coming out. I was able to decide, okay, for those that I didn't have capacity or skills, you know, I built my skills right from Nigeria. So I was prepared. I knew what I wanted to do when I get to Canada. And, you know, when I got in here, I'd already planned that, okay, when I get in here, one, I'm going to volunteer. Because I've been doing strategy for a couple of years. And I know the impact of culture. Culture is important. So I needed to understand the Canadian culture. How different is it from Nigerian culture? And I didn't want to understand that, you know, on my first job. So I wanted to volunteer so that I can have an understanding of what are the expectations, you know, within the working place here. And that was what I did. And yeah, after doing that, I got a job with the government, parastatal, where I stayed for about a month. You know, because of course you want to start working,
Exactly.
you know, but that wasn't what I wanted. So I kept pursuing what I wanted, you know, to work as a business analyst, which I really enjoy doing. And yeah, everything just fell into place from the first job to the second job. So here we are today.
That's amazing. You know,
Yeah.
so so can you talk a little bit about your career and, you know, opportunities that lies in it, you know, or area of opportunities around it in Canada? You know, I know that's part of what you prepare for to, come do here, and you were able to transition into it, you know, in no matter, not a long time. So can you talk a little bit about it and, you know?
Yeah, first of all, let me say that regardless of my career, I think and I believe that Canada is a land of opportunities. You know, I have a lot of people, a couple of my friends that call me when they're planning to come, and they're like, okay, what work am I going to do when I get here? What job am I going to find? And I tell them, I said, number one, you know, when we're back home, many of us were constrained, you know, to working in certain industries. The majority of us worked in the banks or oil industries because those were where the opportunities were, you know. But I believe that Canada is a land of opportunities. So I tell people, what do you want to do? Where do your passions lie, right? So what interests you? You know, so based on what interests you, then you can position yourself, okay, this is what I want to do, right? And you know, you do whatever you need to get into that. So for me, business analysis, you know, is something that I've always been interested in. You know, I think I came across the IBA body of knowledge a couple of years ago, about 8 years or thereabouts. I loved it. I wanted to, you know, study it more. I wanted to write the certifications, you know, but when I looked at, you know, the opportunities back home, I wasn't encouraged. You know, I didn't feel encouraged, so that was why. So when I was coming here and I saw, oh yeah, you know, it sounds here, it was exciting for me, you know, and I was able to commit the effort, you know, to write the exams and all that. So for business analysis, which is my career, there are a lot of opportunities here in Canada. Business analysts have become increasingly, you know, required in the business space in order to ensure that, you know, projects are, you know, the goals of the organizations are aligned with, you know, many of the projects that they are doing. So yes, it's in increasing demand. You know, there are lots of opportunities, and most importantly, if you're passionate about solving problems, you're passionate about critical thinking. One of the things for me was that I didn't like monotony. I wanted to be able to, you know, do different things in different ways. I want to be able to use my initiative, you know. So yes, so there are a lot of opportunities in it. And if you're someone that, you know, you have some of those soft skills, you know, you like to coordinate stuff, you know, you like to solve problems, you know, you like variety, yes, that would be a great space for you, you know. And some people like feel that it's, you know, it's a tough terrain, but honestly, it's a very it's a very exciting terrain. I have to say, it's not a walkover, you know, but even in those challenges that, you know, you run into on the job, it's still exciting being able to have, you know, blockers and overcome those blockers and see everything that you worked for blossom, you know. So yes, it's a very interesting terrain to be, and without necessarily selling my career, you know, I mean, the more people, the merrier. Because one of the benefits again is that as business analysts, we get to learn of each other, so you continuously build capacity, you know. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, I mean, let's go to the next question. I know that you are touching on some of these things as we go, but you know, if you can be specific and talk to us about some of your success stories since you got to Canada and how you were able to, you know, attain those.
Yeah, I think if I want to talk about my success story, and if I want to, you know, rate myself, you know, I would want to say that comparatively, you know, I've been quite successful here. Canada has sort of been so favorable to me, you know. Yeah, so coming in here, I already talked about my plans. I already knew what I was coming to do, you know, so I was prepared for that. I built capacity over time for those areas where I lack capacity, you know, to enable me, you know, excel, you know, in my chosen career path, you know. And then coming in here also, I told you that I already volunteered. I wanted to volunteer to learn the culture, you know. And another thing that I would say might have worked for me was my determination to be successful. You know, and your determination to be successful is not limited by boundaries. You know, anywhere you find yourself, making a decision that, you know, some people are successful, you know, I deserve to be successful and I will be successful. I think that has sort of propelled me, because it wasn't a walkover. It wasn't as if all the interviews I went for, I aced them. But guess what? For every interview that I went for, and just a few though, that I didn't get the job, I never for one day felt bad. I just always felt that, well, if you didn't take me, it's a loss to the organization, because I have so much belief in myself. I have so much belief in my abilities, in my ability to excel and deliver. I know that anything that I set my heart to do, anything that I decide to do, then I will do it. There will be blockers, but I'm prepared, to overcome those blockers. I tell you, Bossman, there are some days that I go 2 days without sleeping. I can push myself to that extent, and of course I'm grateful to God for giving me the health and the ability, the capacity to do that. I understand everybody may not be able to stay without sleeping for 2-3 days, or sleeping in just a couple of hours. I know, but what I say is that push yourself to the point that you have done your best. You know that when you look back, you can say, even though I didn't get it, I couldn't have done more. And because I have that belief, that way of doing things over time, I think that has helped me to be successful. So yes, I did go for a couple of interviews, and just a few really, because I think I was really, really prepared because of my background. I don't know if I should talk about that now. Yeah. So I can go ahead and talk about that, because I think that information is also necessary to show how I got to this point. So I have my BSc from Nigeria in Banking and Finance. I have my MBA from Unilag. I have an MSc from Aerospace University in Strategy, and I've tutored in strategy, leadership, risk management for a couple of years. So to that extent, there's a lot of knowledge, that I can bring to for any career path that I find myself. Also, I have the PMP that I did, and with all the knowledge that comes with it. That's the project management professional, and the certified business analysis professional, and the strategy planning professional, certificate. So it's a whole lot of knowledge. But I didn't just get to that point overnight. It was because I decided that I understood the importance of knowledge, and I knew that there are different ways to get to the top. You can either get to the top because you're lucky, you have somebody that positions you there. You can get to the top because you push yourself to get to the top. And I saw that, okay, I have control over knowledge acquisition. I can push myself to do that. I may not have control over someone being willing to help me, or not help me, and I don't want to position my life on luck, on chance, right? So because of that, I built a lot of capacity, in terms of knowledge. And when I came in here, it sort of helped me a lot. For example, the cultural issue I mentioned, when I told a couple of my friends that, I wanted to go and volunteer, they were like, why would you work for free? You don't work for free. You pay, you transport yourself there, you feed yourself, you work 8 hours a day, Yeah, but I knew that I needed to invest that time for me to understand the culture, because I know that if I have all this knowledge and I don't understand the culture, I could position myself for failure, and failure is something that I am not willing to accept. So I was willing to, to pay that sacrifice. So I think to a large extent, determination, would help you in your career path. I think also, even when you have a chosen career path, you see that this is what I'm passionate about, this is what I want to do. The expectation is not that you know everything. Right now, I don't know everything. I still continue to learn. I know that, yes, sometimes I might learn, I might still fail, but you know what? I want to get right up and try all over again. And if you keep trying, if you say, okay, this is the career that I want to position myself for, you're going for interviews, it's not working. Yeah, I did go for some, it didn't work, but I didn't stop there. I kept pushing myself. I kept building capacity, So if you want this career path and you're trying, you're not getting it, continue to learn. When you continue to learn, push yourself, acquire knowledge, do research, you get to a point, you look back, you are not where you were before. You may not be where you want to get to, you know, but you're definitely not where you were before.
Sure.
And as long as you continue to push yourself, right, you will definitely get, you know. So for me, I think that's, you know, for my career path, it's been very, very successful here. I came in here, volunteered. I don't think I've been without a job for more than 3-4 weeks, honestly, since I came in here. Because I mean, I took the first month off because I wanted a vacation. But beyond that first month, I don't think I've been without a job for more than 4 weeks.
Wow.
You know, and good jobs at that. So yeah, so
that's quite impressive. And I totally agree with you about, you know, pushing, you know, as long as you set your mind at what you want to do, you know. I always say that the same thing wouldn't come the same time for two people, you know. Some may come early, you know, some may come much later, but what will be different, or what set us apart is how much, you know, we can push for it. So thank you so much. So to be specific a bit, I want you to tell us about the field of business analysis and project management a bit. I know that's your area of specialty, and you know, you said some things about it, but maybe there's someone watching us who doesn't really know much about it, especially if you look at the setup we have in Nigeria, or maybe in some other countries where, you know, business analysis is not well known, you know. So if you can just talk a bit about this area.
okay, thank you, Bosman. So first of all, let me say, you know, even the IIBA that is, you know, responsible for the BABOK in terms of business analysis recognizes the fact that, you know, not every business analyst bears the title business analyst. Right. You know, and they always say that, you know, you're a business analyst if you do the work of a business analyst. Right. So for business analysts, we have some things that we do, you know. So you play a lot of roles in terms of, you know, I don't want to go too technical, you know, but, you know, getting requirements, you know, understanding, you know, the business, understanding, you know, the gap that needs to be filled for the business, and a lot of, you know, different things, you know, that, you know, when you do these things, you are seen to be a business analyst. Now, back home, as I mentioned earlier, we're more like generalists. I did a lot back home. You know, I did business analysis, project management, customer service. I did IT. I went under the table to put in, you know, plugs and cables. I upgraded programs. So we're generalists, and business analyst title in quotes is not something that is commonly heard. You know, so I think that's why a lot of people get confused when they hear business analysts. They're like, who are business analysts? What do they do? Especially for, you know, some of us back home, you know. So you know, having an understanding of what business analysis is, you know, you're able to actually understand if you have done business analysis and if you can be called a business analyst, you know. So that's something that you need to actually, so it's not just a matter of, oh, what is business analysis? I don't know it. Or what's business analysis? I don't know it. When I was talking earlier, I said, what do? You research this business analysis thing. What is it all about? Then you have an understanding of it. Then you're able to see, can I be called a business analyst? You know, do I have, you know, the skill sets, you know, to be called a business analyst? Do I have the experience, you know, to be called a business analyst, you know? And also, that also goes for project management. You know, I remember that our project management office in my previous company back home is, you know, it's just a couple of years old, actually. You know, but then we have been doing project management from the inception of the organization. You know, so, you know, sometimes you're not wearing that cap, or you're not called that name, you know, so it makes you feel that you don't know. And this, you know, I want to talk to many people that are, you know, maybe some immigrants from back home right now. You know, you actually need to make the efforts to understand, you know, that job or that career, to determine if you have the experience. And one thing that they always say here is that you have transferable skills, to position you for that job role or career path, So those are, different things that you can look at. But the business analysis, what it is quite clear. The information is readily available everywhere. Project management is readily available everywhere, and it's quite clear what it is. It's just a matter of you looking at your experiences, your skill sets, and seeing whether you actually can wear that cap or not. But then, for a lot of people that have worked in corporate, let me say banks, maybe because I have experience in banking, I know a lot of us did so many in that in that regard.
Wow. Thank you so much. That's quite enlightening. Okay, so like a follow-up question to that. So someone who wants to start a career, transition from whatever he or she, is doing currently or was doing before back home, how can one start a career in that field?
Yeah, so if you want to start a career in whatever field, I think the first thing you need to do is to understand this field that I want to go into, what is it all about? So you need to do personal research. And after doing personal research, you also need to learn. That's why we go to school. You need to learn, go to school. Yes, I have a lot of experiences, but what are the international standards? What is expected of this role? So you need to learn. So you need to find a way to get some knowledge, either going to school or coming to Career Vibe, which I may get to talk about later on, to learn what business analysis is all about. Then when you learn what business analysis is all about, then you need to start, positioning yourself on the job, getting some experiences, maybe more volunteering, internship, and actually looking for the job that you want to do. Sometimes you may not get it immediately, but you just need to be focused and decide that this is where I'm going, and continue to do it. So yes, research, learning, and also I also need to talk about certifications. Certifications can also be very, very helpful, because if you have bodies that certify that say that you are a certified professional, it means that it tells the whole world that you have some knowledge to offer. It makes it easy for me. For example, Bossman, you come to me and tell me that you have over 15 years experience somewhere. We have different culture, we have different understanding. I don't know much about the education in your country, so it's difficult for me to really rate you beyond what you're saying. But if the IIBA tells me that Bossman is a certified business analysis professional, I don't need to think further. The IIBA recognized internationally says that, so it's easier for me to take a decision, right? So yeah, so those are the different ways that you can position yourself for your chosen career here in Canada.
Okay, thank you so much. A lot has been said, and I totally agree and appreciate some of those points. We'll take a short break. Now we don't want you to leave, change the dial. Just stay tuned. It's been an exciting time with Khemmy, our guest. When we come back, we'll be talking more a little bit about other stuff that may be interesting. Part of it is talking a little bit about the organization called Career Vibe, where she's the head of programs, and she's also the vice president of IIBA Winnipeg chapter. I know she didn't mention that. So please stay with us. We'll be right back. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you once again for staying with us. This is your channel, Yellow Word, and I'm, your host as usual, Bossman. We've had, for the past few minutes, our guest today, Khemmy, who has been giving us a lot of insights. Thank you for staying with us. If you are watching us for the first time, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So now, thank you for being with us once again. It's been a good time.
You're welcome.
All right, so we'll go to the next question that we have for you. I know that you are the head of programs for an organization called Career Vibe Incorporated. Can you tell us a little bit about the organization and what you do?
Yeah, so Career Vibe Inc. is an organization that was built on the premise of filling a gap that we observed within the terrain, of certain professions here in Canada, business analysis being one of them, project management, data analysis, and a couple of other, jobs. So what we do is provide training, for people that want to, position themselves for these various jobs. We provide training for them. We provide hands-on experience. We provide mentorship and support, for them. So basically, it's we also, endorsed by the IAB to train on business analysis. I'm the head of programs. So yeah, we have a lot of courses in place to support people that want to, journey on this career path. And provide also the support from a couple of friends, that are willing to support us as an organization to help people, this career path.
That's good. So the follow-up question that we have to that is, how can you help people who are just coming, have a good start, to their career in Canada?
And so for people that are just coming, that come to Career Vibe, one of the things that we do is, we look at your experience as an individual. Where do you have your experiences? Are the experiences that you have aligned, to any of these roles that I mentioned earlier? And to a large extent, we find that many people with professional backgrounds actually have experiences that are aligned, and they have skills that are transferable, to these roles. So we look at the fact that, can you succeed as a business analyst, for instance? Can you succeed as a project manager, for instance? And on that premise, we provide you with the knowledge, additional knowledge, international best practices, international standard, the things that you need to have a total understanding, of the role of either a BA or a PM or something, and having that total understanding, you already have a lot of experiences that you can leverage on. We also provide hands-on practical experience, opportunity for you to work on various projects, build your capacity and build your confidence, in those roles. So, doing that, we also have mentorship that, we provide mentorship for you, because we have a team of people that are experienced in the field, that have multiple years of experience that they can bring to fore, so we can provide support, for people that are trying to get into these roles. And even while they're on the roles, we know that getting yourself into a new career or a new job, the first few weeks or months can be, a bit rough. You also get, that support for that period.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So I want to ask, can you train or help people in this location alone, or you can, help and train people wherever they are?
We actually train people from anywhere in the world, because most of our trainings are online. So most of everything we do, almost 99.9% of what we do is online. We collaborate online, we handle all our projects online, we take our training online, and we have students from all over, not just limited to the boundaries of maybe Winnipeg or Manitoba. Yeah, we have students from all over, from UK, US, and Nigeria. So
that's good. Interesting. Okay, a little bit away from Career Vibe now. So what will you consider the best part of living in Canada, and maybe the worst part of living in Canada?
Bossman, that is a difficult question. That's a difficult question, because assuming you stopped after your first statement, okay, I would have been able to answer that easily. Okay. So maybe I should start with that first statement. Okay. What would I consider the best part of living in Canada? My living in Canada for the past 2.5 years has been awesome. Wow. I feel that my dreams have come alive here in Canada. Wow. The environment, everything just helps to support, the entirety of my being. In terms of, even in terms of interactions with people, people are normally nice, normally happy. You see like a bunch of happy people. Compared to my experience back home, everybody was uptight, and most people were uptight. We're under a lot of pressure. We had to hustle. Hustle and bustle. So it's a whole different experience. In fact, the first few months I was here, I was like getting bored because there were no challenges. There was no reason to worry. There was no hustle. So yes, it's been wonderful here. The government, puts everything in place to support the people. So normally, everything sort of comes easy. If you want to go to school, for instance, you don't have funds to go to school, you can easily get a loan to go to school and pay. If you don't, in terms, even accommodation, the government tries a lot, provides the opportunities for you. And also in terms of jobs, they are quite, there are jobs, So if you want to, work, it's not a matter of I want to work, I can't find work, So it's everything just works. Security, the kids, they have, in fact, the experience is out of this world in their schools, and their public schools for that matter. They have so much more than they had in their private schools back home, where we had to cut throat to pay the bills, right? But they have so much, opportunity to excel. They are being showcased, So it's been a wonderful experience for me here in Canada. Even when I came, when I look back, I had to call my mom and say, Mom, it's like my over 40 years, of living what I knew to be life. It's like I've lived a lie. Because I came here and I saw that, life can be different. People can be naturally kind. People, would normally not lie. Things would, so it's just a wonderful experience here in Canada. Now, to your other question, what's my worst experience? There's none.
Even winter.
What?
The winter.
I would rather suck up the winter. No, there's none. It's been good. It's been good. I've never had cause to look back and say, oh, if only. I've never for one day regretted my decision, to come here. This is a place that my dreams have come true, and not all my dreams, some are still coming through by the day, sure. But I see the opportunities here. I see that, everything supports me, and, I can get to wherever I want to be, in future. So, yeah. So that is my answer.
That's good. That's a very good answer. I love that, and maybe I will agree with you, that, and that's what I always say for me. And I know on behalf of a lot, you want to thank the country of Canada for, giving people opportunity to come here to, while we're adding value to the system, they're also helping a lot of people to be able to come out of their shell, reach out for their dreams, and see those dreams, coming to pass. And that's a great one. So I agree with you. Unfortunately, you've answered one of my questions. I was going to ask if you've had any regrets, but you said no regrets. So I wouldn't ask that question again. But I will ask this question. I know all has been good. In project management, the field that we are in, there's what we call lessons learned. So if you look back, since when you landed in Canada, if there's anything, I don't know, that you like, okay, you could have done earlier, or you would have loved to change, maybe you did at some point or you didn't do, do you have anything that you say, looking back since you landed, maybe you change a bit?
Yeah, I can answer that question.
Okay. That's good.
Looking back, something that I could have changed was to have come to Canada 20 years earlier.
Right.
Yeah, I would have loved to do that. On the job, in project management, in business analysis, and on my job, my career path since I landed here, I don't think there's anything that I feel I should have done in a different way, you know. And I'm not sure why that is so, but maybe that is premised on the fact that, you know, what I mentioned earlier in terms of, you know, me putting my best at every point in time and looking back and never having to say, this is what I should have done. And I think over the years, I've cultivated that habit. So I think over the years, if you ask me, what could I have done differently 5 years ago, besides coming to Canada? Really, I don't think there's anything I would say, this is what I should have done differently, you know. But I can tell you the things that I have done, you know, that I've gotten me to this point, you know, which I mentioned, you know, quite a number of them: preparation, determination, passion, knowledge acquisition, you know, all those things, you know, would put the best time to take a decision was yesterday. The next best time to take a decision is right now, you know. So where you find where we are right now, Bossman, it's a summary of decisions that we have taken in the past, and where we are going to get to, you know, will be a summary of decisions that we begin to take from now. You know, so in order to 1 year down the line not look back and regret, what do I have to do now? I need to do those things, you know, to get me to that point. So I need to begin to, you know, if you want to start, begin to research, get that knowledge, get the information, be determined about it, you know. So no one now, I mean, you know, the different thing is that when you're working under somebody is supervising you, you know, somebody is telling you this is what you didn't do right, you know, but now you need to do self-appraisal. You know, so I'm going to this point. Nobody's going to come and remind you you forgot to do something. You need to remind yourself. You need to push yourself, you know, and appraise yourself and measure your performance to get to that point, you know, in future. So I think maybe because of all this I've done over the years, that's why I can look back to the last 5 years and say that, you know, I really don't think there's anything that I should have done differently. You know, and I mean, so yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, sometimes I mean, I will agree with you, especially if one prepares himself or herself before coming here, because you know, I agree with you that, you know, what we experience today is actually like aggregate of, you know, the totality of what we've done in the past. And you know, I was talking to a couple of my friends, you know, a few months back. I mean, two of them we've always been talking, and there are things that we would have done maybe when we started our career back home, and we had reasons why we couldn't start, you know. So we got into our career, we had reasons why we couldn't do it, you know. At every point there will always be a reason. But I told them, I said, today we felt like 10 years ago we would have done it. I said, if you are not careful, 10 years to come we'll be saying we would have done it 10 years back. So I told them, I said, if we want to do it, if we are serious, no matter what we consider our age or where we are now, if you really want to give it a shot, we should do it now. And like a few months back, we started thinking about it, started doing, you know, and I know that something's coming from it, you know. So I agree with you. If, you know, we miss the last best time to start something, now, you know, it's the next
best time.
Best time we just have to start. Thank you so much. I mean, it's been a great time talking to you, Khemmy. For viewers that are watching us that may want to come here, can you quickly tell us the step-by-step of your application process where you were moving or applying for immigration?
Yes, so when I decided to come here, based on the research that I conducted, the first thing I needed to do was to do the IELTS. So you need to do the IELTS examination. It's test of English. So in doing that, I encourage you to also do like some research. There are a lot of information online that can support your study, you know, for that exam, you know, to be prepared for the exam so that you have high scores. Then also, I applied, you know, I was coming to Manitoba, so I did my expression of interest, right? If I remember correctly, you know, so I had to apply to the province, you know, to come here, and I got the approval, and based on that I applied for the federal level. Now, however, the information that is quite helpful will be that, you know, while I was doing my research, I came across, you know, some on websites, there are lots of information online. Like Bosman, what you're doing now, talking to people, all these experiences were the things that, you know, I also, you know, read about, watched a lot of videos to have an understanding of, you know, what are the criteria, what are the things that I needed to do, you know. And so while I was doing that, also I came across a website where I was able to get into WhatsApp. Those WhatsApp groups were very, very helpful. I was able to get in touch with, you know, people with common interest, and we shared a lot of knowledge, a lot of information that was very instrumental, you know, to the successful completion of the process, right? Also, one of the things I did mention that we did, that I had to do anyway, was to evaluate my certificates. So I did that with WES. So you can always Google that. Evaluate your certificates, get your IELTS, and, you know, get some knowledge. Visit the province website, you know, to get some knowledge. But the WhatsApp groups were very, very helpful. So I want to say that.
Okay, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful time with you today. Thank you for coming. We hope if we call on you next time, you'll be available to, you know, answer our call.
Thank you, Bosman.
All right. Thank you once again for joining us. We hope you've had a good time.